welcome. I am Tamara and today's video is a small little addition to a previous video that I did where I gave you 5 different things that you could sew as baby gifts. Now this one in particular did not make that list of 5, however I think it is an awesome addition, especially for those drooly babies. So this is called a baby bandana and it is as simple as this. It is just a square, and then you will sew it up, add some snaps, and you'll be able to fold it in half so you've got that little triangle there, and then loop it around, and you've got yourself a bandana that looks adorable for your baby, but it is 4 layers. And if you really think about it, this kind of gets crinkled up there under the neck, and so this is going to soak up so much more drool than a regular bib. So I highly recommend that you check this one out, and of course I'm going to link to those other baby items down below. Now let's get sewing. Start by choosing 2 different fabrics. They don't have to be different in type. However, I am using a nice jersey print, and that has a nice stretch to it. And then on the back, I'm going to use a waffle fabric because I find that will soak up more drool, but I'm making sure that that also has a nice stretch to it. You will also need some sort of tool that will allow you to add snaps to your project. I love this plastic snap kit. I will definitely have it linked in the description down below. Then cut 2 12-inch squares from your fabrics. Lay them right sides together and clip around the entire edge. Then mark one side with about a 4-inch space. I like to mark this with a different pin so that I can remind myself when I'm sewing not to sew across this 4-inch section. Then take it to your sewing machine, starting with a back stitch. Sew a 1/2-inch seam allowance around the entire project, ending at that 4-inch opening and ending with a back stitch. Next, you will trim away all 4 corners so that you're removing the extra bulk. Of course, make sure you're not trimming over the seam allowance. Then turn your entire project right side out. And then gently with your fingers, just push out all 4 corners. It's at this point that I recommend you take it to your iron and give those edges a nice press. That way everything is nice and crisp. And of course, fold in the flaps at the 4-inch opening and clip across that edge. You will take this back to your sewing machine and you will sew a 1/4-inch seam allowance around the entire project that will seal that 4-inch opening as well. And I do want to recommend that you try your very best not to tug on the fabric, because the more that you tug on the fabric, the more wrinkled the edges will end up being. Now you can stop here, but I do like to add a second seam just to give it a nicer finished look. So I'll take it back to my sewing machine and I will sew a 1/2-inch seam allowance around this entire project. And now it's time to add the snaps. So fold your fabric so that the 2 triangle ends are laying almost on top of each other. Grab your snap kit, and on both of those folded corners, you are going to add your snaps. Pulling those 2 corners over on top of each other, you can use your awl and poke through both of those points. That way you can create the holes that you need for both points. Then you're going to fit each snap in, making sure that they are facing each other. So I like to keep my bandana in this folded format. That way I make sure that my snap pieces are going in the correct sides. I do have a tutorial where I walk through how to add these plastic snaps in detail, and I will have that tutorial linked in the description down below. Now, something that I do end up doing on this particular bandana is I squeeze my snap clamp too hard, and I actually heard my plastic snap crack. I've never had that happen before, but that is a choking hazard. So make sure that your snaps don't end up cracked in any way. That way you're making sure that everything is safe for a baby. As you can see here, when it's laid out flat, one of my snaps is facing down and one of my snaps is facing up. And of course, if you wanted to make these even more high-end, you could definitely use metal snaps, but then you're going to need a higher-end system. I will link to that higher-end system down below as well if you're interested. I just think these baby bandanas are the cutest thing ever. If you have any other ideas of items that you would like me to teach you how to sew, baby items specifically, let me know in the comments down below. I am always looking to make new things. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Hit subscribe so you don't lose me here on YouTube, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.